So the Genius Act has passed, which we've pretty much beaten to death here on social media. The question is, what comes next? In this video, I'll get into what the future might hold for stablecoins, specifically Tether, and why Tether is so important to the success of stablecoins in general and the crypto market as a whole. So Tether, at a market cap of close to $162 billion, is at present the world's largest privately issued stablecoin and one of the largest holders of US bonds, even though it is not a US company. Tether has ties to Howard Lutnick, Trump's Commerce Secretary, through Lutnick's firm, Cantor Fitzgerald, one of the largest and most influential financial services firms in the world. Cantor Fitzgerald is a 5% owner of Tether and custodies the US Treasury's backing Tether's stablecoin, USDT. Tether has been criticized in the past for refusing to do a comprehensive, independent, third-party audit of its reserves, so still no one really knows for sure if USDT is fully backed one-for-one, as is USDC issued by Circle, or what types of assets are backing Tether. For these reasons, USDT is not presently compliant with the Genius Act, although the Genius Act won't take effect for approximately 12 to 18 months. Based on publicly available information, USDT appears to be backed mostly by US debt, but also in small part by gold, Bitcoin, and commercial paper. So what will Tether do? I see three main possibilities. First, Tether has some time to reshuffle its reserves to comply with the Genius Act. This would mean that it would have to divest itself of its non-US debt-oriented investments, or perhaps separate these assets into a separate subsidiary that is not counted as part of Tether's backing. It would also have to finally undergo the type of examination of its reserves that the crypto community has been asking for so long. Really, neither of these steps seem to be that horrible, so I would hazard a guess that that's what Tether will do, especially given the company's existing financial and political ties to the US and the Trump administration. A second possibility is that Tether will spin off a US-compliant version of USDT. This would introduce a whole new level of weirdness, however, since the whole point of a stablecoin is to serve as a fungible medium of exchange across international borders. Splitting USDT into US-compliant and offshore versions would introduce risks of fragmentation, delayed settlement, and inconsistent pricing across jurisdictions. Third, Tether could simply pull out of the US altogether. I see this as the least likely possibility of the three for the reasons that I've stated, plus I don't see Tether just rolling over and surrendering the entire US market to its main competitor, USDC. So now that we know a little bit about Tether, the question is, who cares? Well, Tether is not just important as stablecoins go, it's systemically important because much of all of crypto, including Bitcoin, trade not against the US dollar, but against USDT. In other words, you use the USDT to buy and you receive USDT when you sell. Put simply, this means that USDT is critical to the liquidity of the entire crypto market. It's almost as if USDT is too big to fail. Now, where have I heard that before? Well, in light of all this, it is clear that if you pull the plug on USDT, you pull the plug on Bitcoin and everything else. So there are a lot of powerful people who do not want to see this happen, nor do I. So that's my rundown of the future of the Genius Act and Tether. I hope you've really enjoyed this video, and if you did, I would be super grateful if you did all of those wonderful things like liking and sharing and subscribing. You know the drill. I'm Uri Good, blockchain lawyer. Contact me for further information or if I can help. Thank you.